Still here with another Transgirl C, where we talk about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd shit. So, I did miss the in-week, mid-week video last week. Reasons being, I went to Emerald City Comic Con, thought I could shoot a video there, and for reasons, it just didn't happen. There wasn't really enough time in my day. I was super tired. Anyway, I went right from work to the convention. It was not pretty. I did get to meet Irene Coe, though, the artist behind the Legend of Korra comics, and she did sign my comic, so that was pretty neat. She's such a sweetheart. And yeah, so that's what I did this weekend. And so because I missed that topic in the midweek video, we're just scooting it up to being the topic for the main video, which is kind of sad because I really would rather be talking to you about the comic that you might have missed. Now, of course, this segment, as I mentioned, is about a particular comic, but it could normally be about anything that just flew under your radar, even if I suggested it to you. And this one I have. It is Betty and Veronica Vixens from Archie Comics. What this comic is about is biker gangs are all the rage in Riverdale, and it's up to Betty and Veronica to start their own all-female biker gang to save the day because of reasons that we won't get into because I want to make a video about this comic. It's really good. The art is done by Eva Cabrera. It's so fun and empowering. If you haven't picked this up, you should totally pick this up and read it and love it because it's great. So, there's that. So, from there, we move on to our main topic, which is supposed to be our topic from the midweek video, which is Skybourne from Boom Studios, done by Frank Cho. And boy, oh boy, if you watch this channel, you know that I generally love everything that Boom Studios produces. They make a lot of great comics like Slam and Fence and Hi-Fi Fight Club, which is also just called Heavy Vinyl now. And I love all those comics. Love them a lot. This is one of those things where it maybe just didn't need to get made. Like, at all. For reasons. Oh my, the story. Okay, so let's get into it. So Skybourne is about this guy right here. Boom, his name is Thomas Skybourne. Roll credits. He is one of 3 siblings, the other one being Abraham, who you never meet, so maybe it wasn't important to tell us about him. I don't know, it's just kind of an off mention in the book. It's not like a really big thing, but if you mention something, just, anyway, it's not important. And a sister, Grace. Now, when this comic was advertised, I actually passed over it 3 times while I was looking through the big previews book before I started doing previews videos, because it just kind of sounded a little interesting, but not that interesting. The thing that caught my eye on the 3rd go-through is it mentioned Thomas's sister. Now, because the total premise of the book is Thomas is sad and depressed about the loss of his wife, and he wants to die, but he's an immortal, and how do immortals die? So it's kind of his quest to die, and that sounds fun, right? That sounds like so much. Anyway, then it mentioned his badass sister Grace, who's like, she like kicks ass, takes name, doesn't take crap from anybody, she's a real tough, girl, and she's gonna like save the day, and that's basically how it was advertised. So that was all good to me. Maybe I'd have to put up with Thomas a little bit, but it would all be about his sister, because that was like their huge selling point for this book, is like, how awesome does she sound? And in the very, very first issue, they kill her. Straight up. Like, she goes through a tirade of just like beating up dudes and like pulling them apart. It's very violent, and fun. It's a lot of fun the way she's doing it. She's like putting her hand through heads. Super great. I love it. I love the whole thing. And then she dies. She gets stabbed in the chest by Excalibur and apparently dies. And you think, well, we watched her get shot and, hit by heavy things and blasted by lightning. Maybe she's just taking her time to get up. No, she's dead. And the story shifts straight to Thomas. And Thomas is, as mentioned, a sad sack. He is, super depressed about the loss of his wife 29 years ago. As mentioned, he's immortal. Yeah. So they go to recruit Thomas, a agency called Mountaintop, which apparently he founded. And the story is super convoluted. Like, he founded Mountaintop, but he's employed by Mountaintop. He's not in charge of it. It was under the control of the Vatican. Now it's no longer in control of the Vatican. Instead, a military operation controls it. And what is its purpose? I don't know. To keep magical creatures locked up and out of sight? And have an armory of mystical weapons? It's like, really, none of these things are explained. Like, there are 5 issues to this book. It's 5 out of 5, so it's done. Hopefully, there's a question mark at the end of the damn book, so, like, maybe it's not, and I hope it is, because otherwise, I might have to get it. Or, I won't get it. I won't. Like, unlike with Alters, where I get it out of some kind of weird need to support a story of some kind, even if I don't particularly care for the story. This, I have no reason to keep getting it if it continues. I only bought it because I started it, and I like to finish the things I start. That's right, so Hilltop, Mountaintop, whatever. So they recruit Frank because they tell him that his sister died, and so his job is to actually get the Excalibur sword back from the person who killed her. The person who killed her turns out to be Merlin, by the way. That's just weird, right? Merlin, he's got dragons. The dragons are neat. I like the dragons. So yeah, that's his mission. Is he gonna stop Merlin? He doesn't know it's Merlin yet, but he's gonna stop him. And at the end of it, he's like, I'm gonna take the Excalibur sword and kill myself. That's his whole mission. That's the book. So, done reading, right? You would think I would just, like, give up on this. I did, basically. So, as mentioned, the story is super convoluted. Nothing's really totally 100% explained. They spend the first 3.5 issues of this 5-issue run kind of setting up the world and the backdrop of the story, and then the rest of it is just rushed through the last 1.5 issues because they had to end it. So, what happens? Too much stuff. Too many things happen, and you get introduced to a bunch of characters that are just basically cannon fodder, against these mythical creatures that get released. And Merlin's trying to open Pandora's gates. It's not Pandora's box. That was a misnomer, a mistranslation, whatever. It's really a gate in Excalibur. It's one of the weapons that can open the gate. It's dumb. And the whole point of Mountaintop is to keep the gates sealed, but Thomas didn't think to tell anybody about that. So they're like, they don't know why Merlin's attacking. But Thomas, it's not good. It's a really confusing, bad story. It's just a bad story. In the end, at least they bring Grace back. Like, apparently she just went into, like, some deep hibernation. But even then, she gets brought back, and it's kind of treated like a sexy joke. It's like, no, not good. Like, she's getting dressed, and, like, one of the engineers or the scientists is just basically staring at her body. And he's like, I've never seen perky breasts before. Like, that's his literal line. And there are plenty of comics that probably shouldn't be written, but this one totally goes in my list of comics that didn't need to happen ever at all. And I'm glad it's over. I'm really glad it's over. That I'll never see it in my box. By the way, a 5-issue run, it took them 1.5 years to produce. Like, the first 3 issues came out solid, 1, 2, 3 months, no problem. And then the next 2, like 6 to 7 months in between releases. It was so bad. It's just not good. There's no explanation for why a comic would release that silly. Maybe he got pressure from people who were reading it about the whole Grace situation. Like, you advertised her and made her seem like it was the main thing, and he ripped that away to try to motivate the actual main character, which is Thomas, and it's just, no. It was bad, and I don't like it at all. So, I don't suggest Skybourne to anybody. You might even be wondering why I'm talking about it. It's because I guess I can't just always review the things that I like. I gotta be a downer in some place. I don't know. This was bad. This was just not for me. Maybe somebody out there will like it and it's for you. Just because I don't particularly like something doesn't mean that it's inherently bad. It just means that I didn't like it. And so if you do pick this up and you read it and you're like, wow, this was really good, and I'm really glad that I looked into it and she was wrong, then fine, good for you. I'm glad somebody enjoyed it. Somebody had to, because, you know, they can't all be winners for everybody. And that's it. That's all I have to say about this book. Don't buy it, but if you do, you know, I hope you enjoy it because somebody should. Just because I want things to be enjoyed. So that's it. What are we talking about later? Well, I'm going to try to do a bonus video this week to make up for the lack of video last week. We'll talk about Dragon Ball Super if that happens, but our midweek, in-week video is actually going to be the comic books previews for this month, so we'll have some suggestions coming your way. But until then, I'm Fire Princess Lily, this is Transgirl C C, and until the next video, love comics, love cartoons, and I'll see you then. Bye.